Inyan Tevas Noach, the concept of Noach's ark. Inyan avondor hamabul shishchi sudar kamal haaretz. Hotzas, zera, levatala. Now the concept of the sin of the generation of the flood, that they destroyed their way on the earth by spilling seed. Who ki al derech mashal begashmius yish beis nekavim. And that's, for example, physically, you have two holes. Echad shebo yotzei zera, ve'echad shebo yotzei shesen kidua. You have one hole which comes the seed, and the second comes the urine. V'kach yuvan lamayla al derech mashal ba'adam ha'elyon min bechinas yisod yish beis hamshachos. And so to above, you can understand that there's two concepts of flow from the concept of Yisod, of the sphere of foundation. Nekav zera hu ayamini, the hole for the seed is on the right side. V'u'bechinas chasadim, that's the concept of kindnesses. U'mimenu yotzim neshamos Yisrael, and from that comes the souls of Israel. Shenekra b'shem zera, that are called the name of seed. Then they're drawn into the feminine aspect, which is Malchus of Atzilus, like it says, and I'll plant it for myself on the earth. And through this sweetens the strictnesses of the feminine, and then they unite together the seed of the masculine and that of the feminine, and this truly creates a soul. And the hole for the urine, that's the left one, and that's the concept of strictnesses. And from that comes the flow and drawing down to the other nations. That is to say, the source and the root of the creation of their souls. And then the generation of the flood, that they spilled seed, they caused a flow and a nurturance from the hole for the seed, ba'adam ha'elyon, on the supernal man, hakol hachitzonim, to go to the other side, to go to the external, levatala, because they had their seed for no reason, to the vatala, to the concept of the negative. And then the seed of the supernal man did not go into the feminine of Atzilus. For the souls of Israel, and because of this it awakens strictnesses within the feminine, because the seed of the masculine was not sweetening them, because when the masculine seeds in the receiver, fittingly, that is to say, with a union of male and female, the masculine and the feminine, for then the kindnesses of the masculine sweeten the strictnesses of the feminine, which is not the case with the lack of the flow of the masculine seed, which is a concept of kindnesses. Then the strictnesses are left unsweetened. And this is how they brought a flood onto them, through their deeds, even though they weren't commanded on this at all. They were not commanded not to spill seed. Nonetheless, it still awakened on them great strictnesses from the strictnesses of the feminine aspect, that they remained unsweetened. And then 15 amos high, Gavru Hamayim, the water strengthened above. Vayichusu Harim, and even the mountains got covered. Perushki Gvuros Tunukva Oreru Od Gvuros Mimekoram. That is to say that the strictnesses of the feminine awakened further strictnesses in it from their source. Tainu bebechinas bina. That is it awakens strictnesses from bina mikor hagvuros, which is the source of strictnesses. Shme bechinas hegvuros shebebina nimshech aleim din chulu. That from the 5 strictnesses of bina that brought judgment onto them. Lechein vayichusu harim, and therefore the mountains were covered. So what is the mountains? Ha'avos nikra harim. That is to say the level of the midos, because the forefathers are called up the mountains. Kamoshikos of shimu harim riv havaya, like it says, the mountains should listen to the fight of Hashem. Va'imos nikra gvos shem harim ktanim, and the mothers are called the hills, which are small mountains. V'hainu bichinas chagas v'netzach v'hod yedua, and those refer to netzach and hod as is known. So that's chagas and netzach hod, as is known. So it covered the mountains, meaning the judgments went all the way up to Bina. Now in general, the conduct of the world is through these emotional attributes. That the first day is kindness for Avraham. But because they awakened upon themselves from the strictnesses of the feminine, and from the 5 strictnesses of the mother, Hanal, so the mountains were covered by the strictnesses, that awakened upon them from all their sides, from before and from below. From below, that is to say, the strictnesses of the feminine, and from before, that refers to the strictnesses of the mother. That's above the emotional attributes. And from these 2 strong concepts of strictness, both the nukva and the bina, so that completely covered on both sides the mountains, to the point where the attribute of kindness of Avraham could not stand up in front of them. Now the saving of Noach was specifically through this ark, that's from the inner concept of bina, that it was 300 amas in length, and 50 amas wide, and 30 amas high, because Keser is called the 100, like it's brought in Zohar about the days of Sarah, 100 years, which is the concept of Keser, Shekal Yud, Yud Miyud, that includes 10 and 10 from 10, and in it is the numbering in the hundreds. And the 20 years, that's the mother and father, in which is the counting of the tens, because they're included only from 10, but not 10 from 10. So that's the mother and father of Chochman, Bina, so that's the 30 amas high, is the Chochma Bina Das, that each one is composed of 10, amongst them all, so that makes 30. Chochma Bina Das. But the length of the Teva is 300 amas, and that's through the Keser shining into Chochma Bina Das. So because it's not just 100 of Keser, but it's 300. And that's because Keser is shining into all three Chochmah Bina Das, then each one of them becomes 100, just like Keser is called 100, and amongst them all, then you have 300. And that is specifically through the length. Just as it is the order of drawing down from Keser to Chochmah Bina Das, then you have 300. But if not, it's only 30. And 50 amas wide, so that's the 50 gates of Bina. And to one amma, they'll all end above. That's the unity, the singularity of the essence of the light of Keser. That Keser is also counted in the singular, as is known, with the concept of one, and there are different ways of saying one, a singular one, and one in the counting. That the concept of one, singular, above counting, that's in the Keser. So too it's brought with the concept of counting on Yom Kippur, of one and one and one. Vatam, and the reason, Zohar, al pasuk vayihi Sarah, like it's brought in Zohar over there about the life of Sarah, kibutzina da dispashtu minei nehorin l'chol star, like this candle that light spread out from it to all sides. V'kad distakelo tishkach el chada, but when you try to look at all the light that comes from it, you'll only find one light. So even though you have a concept of 100 from Keser, but when you look closely at the essence and the source, you only find the unity. Because Keser is a concept of infinite, Yeshbo Beis Bechinos Hanal, it has both of these concepts. Whether it's one and singular in its essence, or when it spreads out too many divisions without measure, more than all the other 10 spheros. Therefore it's 100. And the rest of the 10 spheros are only 10. And Noach needed all this in order to be saved from the flood, which are those two types of strictnesses, the strictnesses of the feminine of Malchus, and the 5 strictnesses of the mother of Bina, that you can't have the saving only through the light of the crown, specifically of Keser, which are simple mercies, and sweeten the strictnesses of the mother of Bina. Therefore, when he shined those 3 concepts of Chabad, of Keser, from Keser, as I told Noach, then Noach was saved. V'zeu Inyan HaTeva Kanal V'dal, and that's the concept of the Teva, like we said. V'alpi zeyuven masha kasu b'medrash, v'alpasuk v'aysa keshes chulu, bein elukim u'bein nefesh chaya. According to this, you can understand what's brought in Medrash on the verse, that the rainbow was a covenant between Elohim and between the souls of the animals, ubein midas hadin shelamayla, ubein midas hadin shelamata, and between the attribute of judgment above and the attribute of judgment below. Perush ki gavnia keshes, and that is to say that the colors of the rainbow, shumei b'chinas yesod abba, which which are from Yesod Abba, because that's the Keshes. The Keshes is the concept of Yesod, like Yosef. So it's a sign. So the rainbow then is a sign of Yesod, this concept of the flow from Yesod, from the bris, that you will no longer awaken these two types of strictnesses, lahavi mabul, in order to bring a flood. And that's this covenant between the attribute of judgment above, perush gvurus the ima, that is to say the strictnesses of the mother of bina, ben midas hadin shalamata, bechinas gvurus dunuk v'chulu, and between the attribute of judgment below, that refers to the strictnesses of the feminine aspect of malchus, al yedei hakeshes, through the concept of the rainbow of the yesod, v'disiya lizkor chulu v'dal, and I'll remember it in order to remember the promise. So I guess if you don't have the flow from the yesod of Zah, so you can draw down from the yesod of Abba, of the mochin above the gvuros of Bina, as Keser shines in it. And that's why it says that the earth was destroyed in front of Elokim, that is to say, because of the strictnesses, the Elokim, that were awakened. And that's why it says that the generation of the flood, they messed up with the heat, things that were boiling, and they were judged with the boiling. That is to say, that they awakened upon themselves an awakening of supernal strictnesses, milamaila umilamata, from above and from below, that's like the concept of the boiling. As is known, you had the Arubos Shamayim and the Tehomarabba. Both of them, Lefishagam, Hema, Kilkulu Berotchim, because they also messed up with the boiling, hotzas, zera, levatala, by spilling seed. Shenisharu Hagvuros Pilti Mumutakos, that the feminine remained without sweetness, was not sweetened by the masculine. V'ha'etza Haisa Teva Kanal, and the advice to be saved by that was the Teva, the concept of Keser and Chochma Bina Kanal, like we said. The Chochma Bina Das, as it shines from Keser, which is the 30 and the 300 and the 50 of the Nunshari Bina.